Hi YouTube, please give me a moment while we go live on Facebook. It'll take just 1 second here. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. I am Sami Abusad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well, hope you've had a great weekend. And let's get started. We're gonna go over the market. We're gonna go over some swing ideas for next week. As always, before we start, we have to go over a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. So make sure you agree to that before proceeding with the video. If you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and turn on the charts and get started. If you find benefit in today's video, be sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. And let's take a look at the market. First, the Qs. Qs, SPY, they're almost the same now. Qs is leading, obviously. We triggered long into the Qs over 355, I think. Yeah, 355.18 last week as a swing play. Already got to target one, which was 365, about 10 bucks. So now on the back half, it's up $13 per share. But the Qs is all out bullish. Of course, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 green bars in a row. So if we start to accelerate, if we start to put in wide range bars like this bar, you know, some big bars, then we can start to look for a reversal. I'm not saying we can't get a reversal next week a little bit without a wide range bar, but it will be hard to predict. If we accelerate, if we put in a wide range green bar, then that would be easier to predict, and I would just look for a reversal off the hourly chart. Okay? But for now, the bias should remain bullish until proven otherwise. The SPY also closed at all-time highs. The IWM is a different story, but it is still in a range. The bottom of the range got bought last week, and I think on this day, I don't know which day that was, Tuesday probably, it was a 3.5% day. So really, there's a lot of support at the bottom of that base, even though it's a pretty long, ugly base. There's a lot of support, and we bounced off support. So for now, the bias should remain bullish unless we accelerate, or I don't really have any. I don't have any alternative scenario where I would be bearish without accelerating. But we can, as I said, because we have 4 green bars, we can maybe go sideways for a week, but I would still be bullish. Okay? Amazon, in terms of the swing ideas, we got Amazon. It triggered for us in the newsletter on Thursday over this bar's high, which was 35.92. But I still like it higher as a 1, 2, 3 long over this bar's high. The stop can be, you know, we can use this bar's low as a stop, or safer yet would be this bar's low as a long-term play. As a long-term play. I certainly wouldn't suggest Amazon as a swing because I don't love it enough to play it swing. But as a long-term play, I think it's worth a shot. So now we have Amazon, we have Google, which is a newsletter play from way back here. It's on fire. And we have the Qs. So 3 market stocks, 2 stocks, and the market itself, the ETF. So, you know, that's the only thing that goes in my mind right now about adding to the Amazon, because I do plan to add to it if we take out this bar's high. But I already have Google, I already have Amazon, I already have the Qs, so it's a little, you know, it's a little too much since the market is up already 4 or 5 bars in a row. CTAS triggered on Friday as a breakout. This thing got in the way. So as a breakout right here, it still looks good. It's not too late, I think, to jump in on the CTAS breakout. CTAS is a little bit aggressive because it's not at the 20 MA, but you see this reversal right here? You see that drop and the recovery and then the base and the breakout to all-time highs? How much do you want to bet that this will not get taken out? Not any time in the near future. This bottom right here, 365 basically. I think this will hold for a long time to come, okay? And I think the CTAS will crack 400 probably next week, but I'm not betting so much on next week. I'm betting on the long term for CTAS. I think it's going to have a bright future. Next on the list is JUPW. JUPW had a novice gap on Thursday, but it was a secondary offering. So not a real gap in the sense of the word. Having said that, if it takes out 222, I like it higher with a stop under $2. And the target would be the gap fill, so this bar's low, 272, about 272. So this would be a swing trade. MGI had a breakout on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday were inside days, so I'm looking for a continuation bar to break above the range of the last 3 bars. Okay, like so, in which case I like it higher, or I would want to enter right here, long, with a stop under this bar's low. Okay, MGI looks higher. I like it a lot. PRTA has a daily buy setup. To tell you the truth, PRTA was first played when it was at 15 bucks. I played it several times. I wish I just held it and never got out and back in, because I would have made more money. But this was an amazing gap. Take a look. Over how many bars in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 red bars in a row. And which means every single trader that shorted it, every hedge fund manager, every small trader, every big trader, smart money, dumb money, every single person that shorted it, and as you can see, a lot of people shorted it, got killed on the gap. They were trapped. So that started the covering process, which of course took it higher. But if you look at that gap, I mean, it was such an amazing gap. I probably should show you the weekly chart. The gap basically made the stock, gap to 15 bucks. It made the stock break over a long-term base. And so that was the moment to buy it and hold on to it, but not smart enough, yours truly, not smart enough to hold on to it. And so I remember a few days after the PTRA, in just one day I made $8,000, which was that day. And I only had 1,000 shares. So I didn't have that kind of size, but that shows you how much this stock moved in just that day. I remember I was at the high, I was up 8,000. But at any rate, got out of it a few days later, got back in it, and I caught it over here, but with 400 shares, which is small, but it still made good money. The point is, if I had kept the 1,000 shares from the beginning and never got out of it, it would be up how much? You do the math. From 15 to 52. So that's $37,000 on a $15,000 investment. At any rate, I still like it higher over 53.60 long. Stop would be under 49.15, like 48.75. So again, over 53.60, stop under 48.78. Now the argument could be made that this stock has reached the target already, which is the all-time high. Kind of reached it already, and I don't normally like to play stocks that have already made the move, made it to resistance, but I like it enough on the daily chart that I'm willing to give it a shot. Okay, so that's the PRTA. If you'd like to, I forgot to mention the watch list, Bullish and Bearish, which is longer. Were copied and pasted into the description of the video, so you don't have to type them up. I try to make it as easy as possible for you. They were copied and pasted into the description of the video below if you want to just copy and paste them yourself. Another thing I want to say, if you're a subscriber to the Strategic Swing Trader, feel free to log on to your account, and you'll see which plays I picked for my own account and for the newsletter tomorrow. You don't have to wait for the email for the newsletter to come out tomorrow. You can actually log on to your T3 Live account as we speak right now and see which plays I picked, because I'm not going to take every single play. I mean, take a look. That's like 20 short items, right? I'm not going to take every single play. I like to take the best ones. And the rest of them, I just keep on a watch list during the day, tomorrow, Monday, as backup ideas to see maybe they actually set up really nicely during the day, tomorrow. Does that make sense? But I don't take every single item. So at any rate, PRTA looks good. STVN or STVN is breaking out. This is a recent stock, and sometimes after the IPO, if it's a hot stock, it keeps going. So as you can see, it's a breakout. It's not a tight base at the top, so I'm gonna let it go, but it looks higher. STVN, STVN, like I said. SWIA was a spin-off. This was not a real gap. In either case, it got bought, and now it looks higher over 11.25, stop under 11.82. So I like it higher. There's room, plenty of room to move up. And I like it over 11.25. TTD, the trade desk. Oh, well, it's okay. I was going to say, this did a split, okay? And it's been on fire since that split. And I don't know where it did the split. The chart already adjusted. So this wasn't a split. It was a spin-off. But I still like it higher. And check out the TEL. Love it. But the only issue with it is the stop is pretty big. Long over the base, stop right here. Long-term play looks good. Swing trade, not good enough because it's too big of a stop. Meaning, with swing trades, I'm looking to enter and exit, exit within, I don't know, 2 to 10 days, let's say. Do I think, and I look for 2 to 1 reward to risk. Do I think the TEL will move? That's $8, I'm estimating. Do I think it will move $16 in the next week and a half? No, I don't. But do I think this is a great long-term play? Yes, I do. It's basing at the all-time high and is about to break out. So I like it. I like it a lot. TEL as a long-term play. On to the bearish list. Now the bearish list, I don't know why, but I have a lot of bearish items setting up. But what I was going to say was, the market is bullish. Yes, absolutely agree. But it's also up 4 days in a row. So if it starts to just even come in a little bit or base, a lot of these shorts would fall hard, I think. So we got ARRY, ARRY. Not ideal because it already triggered on Friday and I didn't get it on Friday. In fact, it triggered short as a base breakdown last week or the week before last, and I didn't do it either. So that's when it should have been really taken as a short. But it's incredibly weak, gap down this day and never rallied into the gap fill. When a stock gaps down, let's say it gaps down to here, and never goes above that initial bar, that's a sign of weakness. So it leaves a hole in the chart, an overhead unfilled gap above. So that's a sign of weakness, and it looks lower, okay? Looks really lower, all-time low, but still looks lower. So under the SPAR's low, 14.28, stop over 14, oh no, hold on, under 13.58, stop over 14.57. So it's a $1 stop. Target, new lows. So don't know what the target will be. Undetermined. The DNMR is a beautiful weekly 1, 2, 3. So it got the igniting bar, which triggered the sell setup, and it's got the narrow range bar, which gives us the 1, 2, 3 setup. Short under 18.14, stop over 20.52. Target 1, the prior low, which is about 15.50, let's just say, and then target 2 would be down here around $12 on the DNMR. FGEN also had another big gap down that was really bearish a few days ago. That was actually at the end of last week, the Friday before, okay? Short under 13.25. Ideally, you want to put the stop over 15.23, but that makes for a large stop. Can also put it over 14.75, and then this way, you save yourself about 50 cents. I like it under 13.25 short. GO had a bearish gap down on Thursday. Friday wasn't an narrow range bar, it wasn't an inside bar, but it wasn't a big bar without any tails. It wasn't like this kind of a bar. So it was it has a tail, so under the tail, if it breaks under the bottoming tail, that should continue lower. I like it as a short under 32.23 with a stop over 33.33. I don't know what the target is. I guess the target could be somewhere near the all-time lows, around $28 or so. IMUX is a base breakdown, so short under 8.93, stop over $10, 9.94. Okay, it's a base breakdown. I don't know what the target is down here, $5. I mean, wow, look at this, guys. It gapped under all of this. I mean, take a look. The bigger the top, right, the bigger the drop. There's no support. There's no support to the left. It should come down all the way to $5. I think this is a gold mining stock. I'd have to look into it, but it doesn't really matter. Notice this amazing breakout failure. So here it is. Tried to go higher. It did go higher, big time, and then came right back down, based, and then last week it broke down. So I do like it lower to $5. The IMUX. INTZ had a gap down on one of those days, like Tuesday of last week, and is already breaking down. Like it a lot. A little bit thin on the thin side, under 380, stop over 435. Target wise, they have to zoom out or go to the larger time frames. Somewhere around 275, I would say. Maybe 275, 250 in terms of the target for the INTZ. The LMNL, I don't like the daily very much, so it's not one of the ones that I picked for Monday, but it is going to be a watch for me for next week. Because look at that monthly chart. It's been basing for about a year. And maybe not quite a year, less than a year. But the point is, it's been basing for 8 months or so. Okay? And it's just breaking under that base with no support to the left. See, no support. So it looks lower to 1 cent. I mean, this is crazy. It looks lower all the way down to the all-time low. Okay, on the LMNL. But I don't love the daily chart yet. I'd love to see it base for a couple more days. And then I like it short all the way down to the prior low, which I don't know if this chart is messed up, but it looks like it came from a penny, basically. I'm sure it did reverse splits. That's why I chose the prior low as just 1 cent. At any rate, MCRB. This was a nice play for me. I think it was my best trade on Thursday. And played it a couple times. And it's already, you know, I like it when the next day is an inside bar. This way you get the 1, 2, 3 pattern short. In this case, it's not an inside bar, but what I noticed on the hourly chart is that it based the whole day, almost, on Friday. After the initial 30 minutes, the drop at the open, it based. So under the base, stop above it. Okay? It's a little bit aggressive because it's off the hourly chart, not off the daily. MGTA, gap down on Wednesday. Thursday saw a big red bar, and then Friday was a narrow range bar. So under 725, stop over 775 short. And target, probably that's the next support area, 760, 675, I would say would be the target. And then next on list is the NNOX. Love the weekly. Not the monthly, the weekly. That's a 1, 2, 3. It's like the DNMR. Similar to the DNMR. The DNMR is weaker. This has more reward to risk. So can play it under 24.80, stop over 28.88. But that's a $4.50 stop or something like this. More aggressive, but much higher reward to risk would be under 25.50, stop over 28.88. Okay, and target the prior low around $20 or so. The NNOX PRVB, I was in it short and I got shaken out. I shouldn't have gotten shaken out, but I turned bullish on the market after that gap down in the buy setup last week. And so I tightened the trail on it and I got trailed out this day actually. I got trailed out, but it's back down, looks lower under the SPARS low, under 596. Stop over 655. And target, again, they have to keep zooming out to just see where the target is. $5, 505 would be the target on the PRVB. RAAS, RAAS. I almost always wait for 2 days after the gap. So you get the gap down, let's just say, you get the narrow range bar, and then I look to play it short as a low, as a 1, 2, 3 under that bar's low. Sometimes you get the gap down, it puts in a wide range green bar, and then a narrow range bar, and then I play it long. In this case, I'm looking to play it the day after a gap, which is aggressive, but check out the hourly chart. It's just a base. It's like the MCRB. It dropped at the open on Friday, and then it just based the whole day. So I like it short under the SPARS low, stop above, and let's see what the target is. All-time low, so there's no target. Wouldn't know what the target is. I would have to just trail it, manage it, basically. SNBR, triggered already on Friday. I didn't take it, even though I had it in the newsletter as an idea, because it's a little thin. It actually didn't trigger on Friday. I'm noticing that it didn't trigger. I'd have to take out 93.35. Short, stop over 99.35, and then target down to here, to $80. This was a terrific gap on Wednesday under wide range green bar. It didn't really go anywhere, almost, or it dropped, got bought, and then ended up not going anywhere by the end of the day. But this was a good gap. It's just under, it's a little thin, too thin for day trading, so I didn't do it didn't day trade it on when it gapped down. Otherwise, I would have. What's Texas Instruments? TXN? Yeah, TXN was a similar gap, but the other one, the SNBR, was better because it broke under it gapped under the support. This one gapped under wide range green bar, which is beautiful because everybody that bought it the day before was underwater. They woke up and then they're trapped. So I did do the TXN as a short, and I called it in the room as a 15 minutes breakdown right here, short. Okay, under 184.74 was the entry actually. So this was a nice little play on Friday. No, on Thursday. On Thursday, SNBR. TVTX is basing at the all-time low, I think. So it's a short under this bar. It doesn't have a tight base. So when it doesn't have a tight base, I have to give it room because I can't be too tight with the stop. So under this bar's low, under 12.75, stop over 14.50. And then it's not at the all-time low, I guess. And then target would be around $9.50, maybe $10 to be safe. Friday was an amazing day. I hope you took advantage. The Chinese stocks, a lot of them gapped down a lot. I focused on EDU and I focused on playing it long for the most part. But it was an amazing day, one of my best days recently. I don't know, I played EDU, I played a bunch of stocks, but this was I think my biggest play. So I am thinking a lot of these Chinese stocks, especially the online education stocks, will continue to move into next week. So EDU, TAL, and TEL I had a call on it and but as a short and got you right. Those are the three main ones, but there's a bunch of other ones like TME, I think, IQ, right, VIPs, a lot of the Chinese stocks. So that I'm thinking they're gonna be moving next week, and I'll be paying attention to them. Again, the TL, EDU, and Got You are the main three. The other ones are just extra watches, so to speak. I was gonna talk about Bitcoin for a minute. I think Bitcoin bottomed. I was short Bitcoin and I covered it at $30,000. The reason why I covered it at $30,000, it was a no-brainer. I'll show you why. I'll show you, maybe I'll use the 4-hour chart. You see, that's $30,000. I gave back about $4,000 by not covering at the lows, because I didn't just have Bitcoin. I had also Ether short, and I had 3.5 Bitcoins short. So I ended up covering it at $30 right here, and it was a great exit. In hindsight, it was a great exit. When I trailed it, I hated getting out of it because I had just given back at least $4,000 because it dropped to 29 something. Okay, and I had Ether also, and I trailed at 18.42. But in hindsight, also, I wish I flipped it long. Look at the move. So that's from 30,000 to 34,500. And reason why I'm bringing this up is not to talk about my trade from last week, but to talk about the fact that I think Bitcoin bottomed. Does it look really pretty? Does it look amazing? No, but the next stop for Bitcoin should be that prior high around maybe $40,000, maybe even that 200 MA around 43, 44. But for now, I think it's headed towards 40. I really was hoping Bitcoin would drop to $20-some thousand, because that's where the 20 MA is on the monthly, and I was prepared to play long there, if it, like to be very aggressive with it. But it doesn't look like it's gonna get there. Unfortunately, the weekly chart, I'm showing you one time frame at a time. Weekly chart looks awful, but I think it's still bottomed. So I'm going to be watching it long. I'm not in it right now. I'm gonna be watching it long to play on an entry. If I can get an entry to 40,000, and the same with Ether. I like Ether also. Ether is actually showing a lot of relative strength to Bitcoin. If you look at the daily, it's already above the 20 and the 200. Bitcoin is just above the 20, but way below the 200. Again, neither one of them looks that good, but I do think they bottomed. So I am going to be looking for entries into Bitcoin and Ether. Every day I check, I take a look to see if they're setting up. But I just wanted to share that with you. And with that said, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, as I said, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps support our channel. And if you have any questions, reach out to us, info@t3live.com. info@t3live.com. If you'd like to check out my services, links in the description. With that said, have a great rest of the weekend, and I hope you have a great trading week next week. Thank you so much for sticking around with me until the end. Talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.